I was outside in the 2000s, yo. Whether you like to believe it or not, I'll be 32 in March. I was outside in the 2000s. I had me a PSP, NBA Streets Volume 2. I'm a Ludacris fan. I bought Ludaversal. That's how much of a Ludacris fan I was. I bought Ludaversal. I bet you ain't buy Ludaversal. I had Word of Mouth, Chicken and Beer, all of that. Release Therapy. I was a huge Luda fan. That was my generation. I think the 2000s is actually a better generation than the 90s. Sue me. I love Pac. I love Biggie. I love Wu-Tang. I love Ice Cube and them. If you ask me, the 2000s was the best era. We got some of the best Jay-Z. Kanye popped up. We had some of the best Outkast. We had some of the best DMX albums. DMX was still releasing Piff in the 2000s. It wasn't just as dark as hell is hot and flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. I am a student of the game, bro. Look at my jersey. This is a throwback Jerry West jersey with the Los Angeles Lakers. Pray for LA out there. I got my Band-Aid. We shout out to Nelly. I think Ludacris was definitely a star, but was he a megastar? Let's get off into it. Let's talk about it real quick. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy ReedMySole, and I'm back with another video for you. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is being blessed. Yes, if you're watching this, you're on the right side of history. Get up, go make it an amazing year. And my favorite saying of 2025 is, I'm not here to be right. I'm just here to be me. And if you're looking for the right opinion, I don't know where you can find it. But if you're looking for my opinion, you are in the right place. Now, listen, if you're not familiar with this channel, you probably have no clue as to why I just did the intro I did. First things first, I am born in 1993. I am from the 2000s era. My dad was born in Marlboro Projects in Coney Island, Brooklyn. Hip hop was not a choice for me. It was something that was. Just like that famous Vince Staples clip when he was on the Breakfast Club.
When do you discover hip hop? If you were born in 1993 in the ghetto? When do you walk into a place and they're like, hey, nigga, this is hip hop?
I can't really tell you when I started to get into hip hop. It was just something that I was born into. My dad played Life After Death for years. I thought as a kid that was a fresh album. Little did I know it was from 1997. I was there. In 2003, I was 10, and a New York City 10 is probably anywhere else 20, 21, 22. I was outside. So I know a lot of people look at me and they think I'm very young. And like I said, if you don't know why I'm explaining all this, it's because in my last video, what happened to the Medium 3, I slipped up, and I wouldn't even say slipped up. I started a conversation about, was Ludacris a top tier artist? Now, personally, I don't think Ludacris was a top tier artist. I don't think he was a mid tier. I think he was just a step below top tier artists like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, Eminem, Nelly. I thought those were the mega artists. Outkast, those were the mega artists of the 2000s. Ludacris was just a step below, even though he did sell 15 million records and I think 20 million records globally, and he was the most selling solo artist from the South. Ludacris just was a step below that mega tier. I love Nelly growing up. I love Luda growing up. I bought all his albums, and the reason why I said that is because to me it's a conversation. Even the fact that Busta Rhymes what might have been a mid-tier artist as well, because yeah, he did a record with Janet Jackson. I remember that video coming on TV and my aunts and my uncles and everybody saying that it was probably too explicit for me to watch. I grew up in the 2000s, adjacent to the 90s. I still listen to Renee by the Lost Boys, aka Mr. Cheeks. The ghetto love is a law that I live by. Like, I am from that era. While I was being born and birthed into hip hop. My first name is Devontae. If you haven't watched my Justin Hutt video, you should go watch that. I explained that my dad named me Devontae after Devontae Swing, which is the main writer of Jodeci. He was the most famous person. Of course, we know Devontae Swing. Like, that is what my dad named me after because he wrote all the lyrics and he was super influential. All the girls loved him. He was the most popular. So I was even born into that because like the Jodeci was like a 90s, like they were an R&B group, but they had that hip hop aesthetic to them. So I grew up in that. My dad actually was in the music industry. He was trying to step into the music industry. He read a lot of books about everything you needed to know about the music industry. And he was trying to get my cousin at the time, Keithy, a deal in the music industry because he wanted to rap. He was a good rapper. Shout out to my cousin, Streets. My dad was trying to get him a deal and he was being his manager. He was court of judge management. He was running around the city, had multiple different artists. I grew up in hip hop. I know y'all used to what's the dirts and DJ Academics, and you can't really tell if they picked this up or if this is just a thing. No, this is something that I love to death.
This shit means something to me, man.
So when I'm talking as a person who was there. I was there. My brother will tell you, we listen to Country Grammar non-stop. We listen to Country Grammar and Nelly. You want some Akinelli? Put it in. Like, we listen to those albums. One of my favorite female rap albums is There Will Be Eve by Eve. I got a band that I think I'm gonna love forever. And Love Is Blind. Like, I come from that era. My dad put me onto the 90s rappers. There was no way I can get away from the Lost Boys, Mr. Cheeks, and a lot of that, Tribe Called Quest from the early 90 days, Nas, Biggie, Pac. That is what my dad wanted me to listen to. What I chose when I started to fall in love with hip hop was Kanye West, was Ludacris, was Nelly, was that 2000 era, was the Blueprint. First album that I listened to within headphones that on my own was my brother's Blueprint 1. My brother got the Blueprint 1 for Christmas one year. All I Need is one of my favorite Jay-Z records. Blueprint is Blueprint, Black Album, Reasonable Doubt, American Gangster to me. That's like the albums that I would pick. And then you could throw 444 in there, even though I didn't like it that much, but I understood, like, as I get older, I like it a little bit more. But I grew up in that era. That 2000 era is my era. Eminem, 8 Mile. The biggest artists at that time were getting biopics. 50 Cent got a biopic. Eminem got a biopic. Now, Nelly didn't get a biopic, but he didn't need it because he sold 10 million records with Tim McGraw over and over again. I was there, and I think he had apple bottom jeans. I was there. I don't have to look this up or Google it. I did no research for this. I did no research for this video. I bought Luda because my old CD case that I lost, if you know what it's like to lose a CD case, you come from that era. Come on now. I had a Walkman. Before I got a CD player, I was listening to things on a Walkman and would have to press the 2 buttons while I was listening to the radio on this thing because you can radio transmit. And that's how you would make mixtape. I come from that transitional era. I am not academics or what's the dirt or all of these guys that have to Google. I was there. I think, personally, you can argue about it in the comment section, that Luda was just a step underneath. Now, that's not to doubt Luda, but everybody has to fight for Luda. People are still fighting for Luda to get his recognition today. You don't have to fight for Nelly to get that recognition. You don't have to fight for Ja Rule to get that recognition. You don't have to fight for DMX to get that, Eminem to get that, Jay-Z to get that, Outkast. You don't have to fight for these 2000 stars to get that recognition because it was a known fact at the time who was a megastar. The only one selling units is Pimp Juice and us. Pimp Juice, Nelly. If you ask me, Ludacris was just right below Nelly. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Stomp.
Nobody's thinking about you, plus your beef ain't legit. So please stay off the TIP of my...
I used to argue with people about who had the best album on G-Unit. Was it Hunger for More, Lloyd Banks? That's my pick. Was it the documentary or was it Straight Outta Cashville? When I moved down south, I realized people from the south was going to choose Straight Outta Cashville. Now, this is a little bit more for my peoples, for my fans, people that rock with me. I ain't trying to let this go global. This is for us. We can have this conversation within here. And like I say, I'm not here to be right. I'm just here to be me. From my view and from my perspective, Ludacris was just a tad underneath. Don't get me wrong. Too Fast, Too Furious is my favorite out of the Fast series. It used to be Tokyo Drift, but I just love Tyrese's performance in Too Fast, Too Furious. I come from the Baby Boy era. I come from them John Singleton days. I come from that. That is my era. That's where I grew to be myself. My draft class within the NBA is LeBron, D. Wade, Carmelo Anthony.
The 2003 NBA draft was one of the best of all time, spilling a group of future Hall of Famers into the league.
Amongst my friend group, everybody picked somebody. My cousin, which is like my brother, he picked Melo. My brother, I don't know who my brother picked, but really it was just me and my cousin, honestly, because he was a year older than me. But he picked Melo, I picked Wade, and LeBron was just like, everybody knew he was just going to be great because he was LeBron. Then over time, As D Wade got and hooked up and linked with Braun, I became a Braun guy. So I'm from that. That's where I grew my love for hip hop, as though my dad put it in me. I chose the 2000 era. So when I speak, please know that I speak from experience. I speak from them DMX albums. I speak from that Cradle to the Grave, Queen of the Damn, Aaliyah. The first time I cried and like was emotional as a kid for something outside of myself was when Big Pun died and when Aaliyah died. I remember it was sad. I felt some type of way because I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up listening to Big Pun. It's so hard with him and Donnell Jones. You can catch me in a Cherry Van 150. Like, I grew up in that era, son. I grew up in the lean back era. I grew up in the Busta Rhymes era. That's what I grew up in, the battle rap era. Smack DVD era. That whole 2000s era for me, if you ask me, is the best era in hip hop. If you look at all that was offered between 2000 and 2010, right? When YouTube got popping off, 2006, 2007, I was on that looking up battle rap, hip hop music, and Kimbo Slice fights. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a YouTuber, all the way back then. I've been releasing YouTube videos since 2010. And I always played hip hop in the background. So I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. And I think Ludacris, even though he's one of my favorite artists, this is not something I went back and purchased. This is week of release. I have a CD collection that was all purchased week of release because I lost my prior CD collection that was in a booklet. I come from this era where, you know, we bought CDs and we had CD collections. So I was trying to restart my CD collection with some of my favorite artists. To Pimp a Butterfly, unopened. That's just the era. This is the era that I come from, of CDs. I was in that transitional period from tapes to CDs. My first gaming system was PlayStation 1. I used to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on it. I come from that era, dog. I just wanted to explain that to y'all. My conversation isn't just somebody that speaks out of nowhere. I actually speak from experience. I was outside. Now, that is Read My Soul right there. I'm a person that I'm going to put it all on the line. And let's have a debate. Do you think Ludacris was a star? This is the topic, but I wanted to make it more so about my credibility, you feel me? Because credibility is kind of on being questioned nowadays. But I come from that. Definitely do. I can even tell you about the Get Light era in New York. I could tell you about the Jim Jones eras. I was there. Cameron, Mace, Diddy, Bad Boy, Shiny Suit. I love hip hop, and it wasn't something that I Googled on the internet. It was something that I was there. I was there for 106 and Park. I was there for Rap City, The Basement. Now, I might not have been there for Yo MTV Raps. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I was outside like that, but I used to remember in New York, you used to have to call a specific certain channel. If you ain't have cable, you had to call. My mama was mad at me because I called. I wanted to see 50 Cent in a club in 2003. Facts. We was in the shelter. Facts. I wanted to see the latest videos and things like that. So, you know, that's all I got to say for today. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a video. Donate to that Cash App right there. Become a member. I do have a member exclusive available right now. Like I said, this is for my real ones. Is Ludacris a superstar? Was Ludacris a superstar in the 2000s? Is 2000s the best genre in rap? I let a lot of questions go off in here. I've been trying to do all these different type of videos, but I just want to be a little bit more honest and open, and I feel like I could breathe a little bit. I don't have to do these grandiose things. So, yeah, I think I talked your head off enough. Read My Soul out. Peace.